Chapter 11, Section 4, Process Performance Mining. The key idea of process performance mining is to show how the process performs in terms of time, cost, quality, and flexibility. There are different visualizations that are used by process mining tools to this end. The first and most basic visualization is the so-called dotted chart. It was first introduced to process mining by the PROM tool. The dotted chart shows each event of the event log as a dot, and the colors of these dots correspond to the types of events. The second idea of the dotted chart is that we can sort these events in a chart according to cases. Here, the events are shown on a time axis. From left to right is an axis that starts with the relative 0 point of a particular case when it is created. Each row in this representation corresponds to one individual case that is in the event log. The cases here have been sorted according to their duration. Thanks to this sorting, we can roughly distinguish three different classes of process instances. There's a first class of process instances that is roughly 50 to 60% of the cases from top to the middle of the diagram. These are the fast cases. In the second part, from the middle almost down to the bottom of the diagram, are the cases that take significantly longer. And there's only a small fraction of the cases, and that is the third category, that are really true outliers that take even substantially longer. The dotted chart gives a very quick overview of the overall performance of the process and of the distribution of events over time. What is a dot in the dotted chart can also be represented differently. The timeline diagram shows how long certain activities take. In order to be able to show processing and waiting times, such information needs to be available in the event log. Instead of a dot, an activity is a bar here in this timeline diagram. In this way, we can also observe that certain activities are being worked on in parallel. This is apparently the case for activity B and C. As we have also recorded the waiting times, we see a potential for speeding up the process right away. We also can learn something about the performance of the process by looking at handoffs between different roles. This diagram is a screenshot that is taken for putting the log into the MyInVenue process mining tool. The different resources involved in the process are being shown with abbreviations from letters A down to the letter W. It seems that handoffs between certain pairs of roles are faster or take longer. This may be a starting point for some more in-depth analysis. Durations can also be nicely shown on the directly follows graphs. This here is a screenshot from the tool Disco. We see all of the activities of this process, and some of them being in a more darker color, ranging until actually very strong and solid red. The darker red the activities, the longer they take. We see a red color for an activity on the right-hand side, middle of the process. This is the activity that takes relatively, as compared to the others, the longest. We also observe that there is one arc between a pair of activities that is solid and strongly red. Written on this arc is 27.4 days. Apparently this transition is the one that takes substantially the longest, relative as compared to the other transitions. Such visualization is very important for a process analyst to understand the potential of speeding up the process.